two quick words to introduce him. He's from Bergamo, as me actually. He graduated in Politecnico and of Milano, and had his PhD in the University of Milano, and carried out his research activity in Verona. Nice, very nice. Forza Atalanta, so.
Just in case, keep in mind.
And but starting from there, he moved a lot. He moved well through Italy and ended up actually in Atlanta, Georgia, where he has been working at Georgia Tech and Emory University, as where he now is. He's a renowned expert in numerical analysis and computational methods for fluid dynamics, fluid structure interaction in the cardiovascular system, but also in industrial applications, and also of reduced order models and data simulations. And let's say that his most recent, let's say, efforts are in the connection between the fields of mathematical and scientific computing and the actual clinical practice and care. And so in this, let's say, Saturday session about clinical translation, let's say, it fits perfectly for him.
Yeah, thank you. Very nice presentation. Too kind from you. So thank you, but thank you. It's very too much.
And I don't know. Well, the idea of this coffee time is for an informal question.
Oh, yeah.
There is a coffee actually. Yeah. No, I don't have it here. And so for this informal coffee, I would ask us actually to the participants if they are fine with opening their cameras in order to set up a more, let's say, enjoyable settings, and if there is any question that you want to ask to Professor Veneziani, you can raise your hand or go straight ahead for the question actually.
Mm-hmm. I may understand that it's not easy because the presentation was not done yet, but let me say thank you for, really the nice presentation. So I understand you are a supporter of Atalanta like me, so this is important. I really don't know, so I'm happy to be here. Thank you again, and if you have any theoretical question, I see a lot of people I know. Hi, Christian. Hey, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
So I don't know if you have any, after this presentation about me. Well, in fact, I'm at Emory University, so I'm working with Georgia Tech, but my affiliation is Emory University. So if you have anything you want to tell me, you want to ask me, or you want to share with me, I'm happy to listen.
I can start, Alessandro. So thanks for to be here. I try to extrapolate from the title and the topic of your research, just to have a question for you. So you mentioned about data in your title, and I suppose the people knows that you were one of the pioneers of data simulation in the field of cardiovascular setting. So data that were put into the numerical simulation more than 10 years ago. And so I would like to know nowadays, which is your idea about data and simulation, the relation between data simulation, artificial intelligence, big data, reduced models. I don't know, it's just a question, high level of question, but if there are some modification in the ideas you have 10 years ago and how they adapt.
Okay, so thank you. In fact, so first I have to say, yes, it's not that I'm a pioneer in data simulation. I may say we were pioneer because pretty much we were at Emory when we decided that data simulation was something to look into, and so you were there. So we can say we are both pioneer in that. So No, in fact, the sense of my talk is I think that the scientist in the audience is mostly composed of people doing scientific computing, biomedical engineering, computer scientists. And I think we have a big responsibility for the future, which is to promote a true integrated approach. I'm learning, I listening a lot people, in particular from computer science, supporting the idea that models, after all, are not so necessary, and we can. Everything is in the data. So a few years ago, I was in a conference, SIAM conference in Spokane, Washington. Maybe you were there, I don't know. It was very, very cold. It was February 2019. And honestly, I felt that I was really old. I was an old guy immediately. Okay, maybe I'm an old guy. I'm 52. So, but if you were not talking about machine learning, you were out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were useless. And so I had a sort of, I don't know how to say, but a crisis. I say, okay, what I'm doing here. So I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe I'm wrong. So I started looking at books of philosophy of science, just to understand what was going on with this idea that after all, somehow machine learning is closer to human learning, and that models, in fact, our neurons are not working by equations. They don't run by equations. So I felt that there is this idea of an overstructure, and differential models are a sort of overcomplicated thing. After all, everything is in the data. And so after months of crisis, personal crisis, trying to understand so I decided, no, I was not wrong. I'm not wrong. In between, by the way, we had some events like an aircraft crashing in Africa. And after all, it was a problem of machine learning because the pressure sensors were misinterpreting the right thing to do. So I started thinking, reading books, trying to position myself in this scenario. And I think that I attended the conference. Unfortunately, yesterday I had another event. I was supposed to participate at Emory. And I listened, look at it there, and I read your papers, and I think we are all on the same page on this, that no, it's not a competition. And I was sure about this. So when I listen Alfio to talking some around, I have the same feeling. We are on the same page. But we need to educate people. We need to educate students. We need to educate doctors in particular, since we are talking about biomedical engineering. So you are the son of a doctor. So I don't know. I don't want to be not unrespectful. But I have the feeling doctors sometimes got excited by new trendy things. And the less they know about that, and the more they sound excited. And I feel that this may be dangerous. This, for instance, an example, you are the son of a doctor, so you know what I'm talking about. So if you present some results to a doctor, like, for instance, Maurizio Domanin, and you show him the results on one patient, most likely, and you say, oh, I see from this patient, maybe there is this conclusion. Most likely, the answer will be, oh, okay, but now run the same on other 10 patients because, you know, I want to see. And at the beginning, when I was working with doctors, I was kind of offended. I would say, okay, but if he's working on one patient, why should not work on other patients? But then I realized they were right in the sense that, and I will show you this in the talk, sometimes you, you don't confirm on more patients what you see in one. but now my question is, when you get a doctor, when you have a doctor coming to you and say, oh, I saw that I can do this with machine learning in a few seconds. There is this new algorithm. I ask doctors, do you ask them how many data they use for training the machine learning system? After all, it's similar, no? So you are so rigorous for clinical trials. Clinical trials is the master way for advancing knowledge in medicine, after all, and it's very rigorous. And you want a certain number of patients, no less. You need to be very rigorous in enrolling patients, criteria, everything. So how rigorous are you when you look at the machine learning algorithm? How many data? Because to me happened that I got people saying, oh, I have this machine learning system. And then I say, how many patients you used to training it? It was few hundreds. And I think for few hundreds, maybe not really too enough, no? So my point is that we have the responsibility here as computer scientists, scientific computing people, mathematicians, applied mathematicians, biomedical engineers, to educate doctors and new generations of students to be very careful, not suspicious, but careful in the way they use new technologies. No, so I'm assuming, maybe I'm wrong, and if I'm wrong, just let me know. I'm happy to discuss. But I'm assuming that we all think that machine learning and artificial intelligence, deep learning, these are all new exciting technologies that may be really powerful in many respects. Maybe I know that I'm an old guy and I may be biased. So in the sense that when I have an equation, I'm happy to have the equation. And if I don't have the equation, I'm happy to look at something else. But maybe, okay, maybe this is a two model-centered vision. But in general, it's good that we have a combination of approaches. I think this is the winning team, no? A combination of approaches. And I think we all think like that, but it's not what I see in doctors in other communities, users. So I think we have the responsibility of driving correctly this process. So this is what I think is really important. We can do this. We must do this, honestly. This is my impression. And this, if you want, is the sense of my talk. I get students coming to me and saying, oh, I want to do data science. And what about differential equations? No, I'm not interested in differential equations. Okay, I feel uncomfortable, but because there is this sort of media, I don't know to call it, but mediatic experience. They are all exposed to these new technologies, machine learning, fancy names for all things after all. Huh? So and after all, the entire debate, model versus data, it's an old one. It's very old. I mean, I know you, Christian, so you you have a passion for humanistic culture. So if you go back to, I don't know, Plato, the myth of the cavern, and you look into this, you see hypothesis non-thing of Newton. So they, in the history of human knowledge, it's a long story, but where these two pillars of knowledge are always kind of together, get along together, or fight one against the other. And now more than ever, probably we have the responsibility of making them working together, because now we have also the power with computers and storage, computer CPU and storage, to make them working effectively in unprecedented ways to get into results that we could not even imagine. But we need to do this right. And sometimes I don't have the impression that this is happening.
Okay, so students nowadays have I don't know, feel that they are two different worlds and that there is no connection, because I think that if the students that tells you, no, I am not interested in differential equations, maybe also we should educate them that there is the possibility to put together the two worlds. Yes,
exactly.
So data simulation or artificial intelligence, they are different way, but the synergy,
they work best together.
Yes.
So if you can manage to work them, to make them working together, getting along, I think we can go far. If we try to say that one is not as useful as the other approach in the two senses, I think this is a losing approach. So I'm using this example sometimes, in particular for students who think that it's all in the data. So Einstein derived the existence of gravitational waves way before we had the confirmation, no?
Yeah.
An experimental one. And okay, Einstein was Einstein, so okay. But it's not only that. It's not only that he could predict the existence. The point is that people started trying to find proof of existence because of Einstein theory. And the theory guided the experiments to the point that probably since the amplitude of the gravitational wave signals is so small, this helped the understanding right the data, no? So could we get to the existence of gravitational waves without a model, a conceptualization before? I don't think so. No. This to say, so why we should think that data is, of course, it's all in the data, but we need conceptualization to let the data speak using Kalman motto. So, and it's important that students are educated. So we have a scientific mission, but we have an educational mission here. People like us working in this, having a daily experience with both data and models. And I know that you are, yes, you are. I have the impression you are on the same page, but
there is maybe a question or a comment. I don't know if it's the same line by Alfio.
Yes. Thanks, Alessandro.
Hey, Alfio.
Hi, Alessandro. Okay, first of all, 100% agree on what you have said, but to jump on one of your comments, you said before that there are doctors coming to you and they are relying on this new approach, right, based on data, based on machine learning. And my question is, do we understand why they are so keen in embracing, say, machine learning algorithms and so skeptical against modeling? And more than skeptical, perhaps they do not understand them, right? Unless, of course, you hammer on them. Is it because they are more exposed? I mean, the concept that they have about mathematics is that mathematics is statistics and therefore something that is reminiscent with data? Or are there other explanations according to you?
So I wish I had an answer to this, but yes, I think it's because in their background statistics is much more a comfort zone for them. So I think that they feel much more comfortable talking about mathematics in terms of statistics and regressions than differential equations. So I think this is my first impression. And then maybe this is more in the US, I don't know, but in medical doctors, there is this, how to say, try to find the last, most exciting solution and fastest. So they get excited by trendy things, maybe as anybody else, but I think this is dangerous. I have friends and we have discussion, and as I said, so why are you so rigorous with clinical trials and you are not so picky when we are talking about how did you design your machine learning algorithm? Because machine learning is a sort of label that to doctors, at least I have this idea that when they see machine learning, okay, everything is correct by definition because it's the machine and is not human driven, which is, by the way, is a big mistake. I think, I don't know if you read this book, Weapons of Math Distractions.
Yeah,
but it's pretty clear from there that everything can be falsified. So, there is this idea that, no, it's machine learning. So by definition it's correct because there is no human bias. And this is the fake news. I mean, one of the most important fake idea about machine learning. So this is why I recommend doctors please be careful and try to be educated as much as you are with me when I'm talking about differential equation. With Habib, I have this experience with Habib Samadi. We were excited showing in some results on a few patients, confirming some idea about wall shear stress and adverse events. And Habib said, "Oh, how many patients? 10? No. Don't worry. Don't kid me. Bring me other 20." And I have to say, after other 20 patients, he was right that our results were not so clear, and they were blurred with many more patients. So I learned my lesson. I say, yeah, you are right. I understand why you want so many patients, but now why don't you? And by the way, when we are talking about stochastic-based algorithms in general, you need many more data, even many more. So why you are not so picky? And when I ask him, he say, yes, yeah, I know, because I don't know what is behind, so I don't even know that I should ask this question. So yeah, so we need to be really, I think it's on us that we let doctors make the right use of these tools. I think this is my message.
I mean, yeah, this is clear. But I'm also somehow puzzled by this story that doctors don't trust us because 10 patients are too few, right? And I completely share this point because I also had myself this experience, right? And sometimes I try to attack instead of defending myself and saying that even only one is enough if you have the right model. But of course, there's no way to convince them. But my question is, again, yeah, probably is just a matter of education. So assume that we know that this is not true, but assume that we had the perfect model, right? We know that is not possible because there are so many uncertainties and so many difficulties. But assume that you had the perfect model to describe blood in an artery, for instance, right? Now, that perfect model is enough for that specific patient to provide the right answer, right? So this is the place where you do not need more simulations. Absolutely. And so in this case, I guess the point is really cultural. They are used to make statistics. So Absolutely. What is the goal? If you have to make statistics, then of course you want to provide average indicators for a population of people, right? But if you simulate with the right method, then you are not in this business, right? You're not on that page, you're on a different page. And so the criticism that they can make to us is that our model is not accurate enough, which might be the case, right? Yes, but we are on a different page, we're on a different type of criticism.
Yes. No, yeah, but you know, the point is, after all, and I think we started together, so I think it's the excited and also the challenging part of working with doctors. So after all, there is not just the language that sometimes is keeping us apart. No, is the way we advance our knowledge. After all, we are mathematicians, so we are based on syllogism. No, so we have all French people like red wine. Pierre is French. Pierre likes red wine. Okay, this is how we advance. But they don't advance like that, no? They say, okay, I have 5 eggs are good. All the eggs in the box have the same best before day. So the 6th egg is good. And this is not how we advance our knowledge, no? So this is inference. And I think you and I and many other people here, over the years, we learned that sometimes we have to accept this. And now we are, I think maybe we are all we are all vaccinated. I am vaccinated based on this idea, no? I could, that Pfizer is working 90% of the cases, that's enough, and I got vaccinated. So these two approaches, of course, none is perfect. One is because sometimes you cannot simply use that in practice because we don't have the perfect model. The other is because, of course, it's not perfect by construction. So why sometimes I get people trying to convince me that one is better than the other, as opposed to trying to get the best from the two approaches. But I think after all, at the end is these approach. So they are not used. So if we talk to them about syllogism, in fact, is not in their way of advancing knowledge. This is why they need the 5x to say that also the 6 is good. Even if we know, we are pretty sure that is a theorem. So when we have a theorem is a theorem. So you can apply on 10 different problems, but it works. It will work every time. But there is this real cultural gap, or maybe not gap, but hiatus between the two communities. And over the years, we tried several times to cross the bridge or to connect the two. And this challenge now more than ever, it's really important that we succeed in this challenge.
Yeah.
If we want to bring everything we know to the bedside, yes. But it's a long
May
process,
add a final point to the discussion. Well, maybe at least according to me, models with respect to data-driven approaches can provide error quantification. So, is in your experience providing an error quantification when presenting the result to the clinicians useful in the sense that they trust you more? Or on the other hand, they trust you less because you show them that there are errors?
That's an excellent question. So I wish I was more advanced in these. So for now, using models to quantify errors is more a private investigation to use dire straits. So it's more something I do for myself to be confident that we are on the right track. But when I try to sell doctors, so far no good. Okay. I can trust you even before I don't trust you forever. But yes, I think you are right that these, with some work on the cultural background, may be a way to convince doctors exactly of this, how important. Sometimes I say, look, if you have a signal, the signal is, in my opinion, expression of the physics, and the noise is not. So the model can be just a filter for the noise, because the signal is fulfilling the equations, the noise doesn't. So after all, if you want, in a very extreme way, you can use a model just to filter the noise, no? In some sense. I tried several times to explain this to doctors, and I cannot claim that I was successful in this. So maybe it's me, it's possible. Maybe with better talking skills, I could have been better, but no, so far I was not. So for me, it's good to have these kind of approaches to be confident that we are on the right track. But to sell this to the doctors is another story. Yes.
Well, I think that everyone who is in this audience actually struggles with this issue from time to time. I would say that we thank you very much for this, and all the people that actually interacted for this very interesting.
Keep
and
in mind,
always. Always. I appreciated Toloi entering yesterday evening.
Yes, and I didn't appreciate.
Okay, stop, guys. So thank you very much, Alessandro. Ivan, you have to turn to the regular session because